Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning. I'm out here early. I think it's only about 5:30. I'm a little anxious to see if this is going to make a difference. So I got out here early before I have to take off for the day. First, we're going to clean off the contact here. Because the condenser won't do a bit of good if it doesn't have electrical contact. I know having a condenser work through a brush most certainly isn't ideal, but it's about the only choice I have right now. I always drop stuff. Well, so this is the brush that should touch that contact. And turning this, oh, now I went and retarded it. That advances and retards the timing. So now I'll hook the ground wire up to the other end of the screw that holds the cap. But I dropped my screwdriver on the ground, so I got to go down and get that. Now I'm sanding off a spot to get good contact for the ground wire to the magneto housing. Can hear the train whistle a long ways off. That kind of tells us that rain's on the way. I think it's just as accurate as listening to the weatherman. But the weathermen are pretty good nowadays. There. What did I do with my screwdriver again? There it is. The wire probably would have reached. I probably could have screwed the condenser on right here, and it would have grounded through the bolt to the housing. But I got it like this now. should be a good grounded condenser. Now we'll go up around on the other side. I'm going to commence to checking spark again. Pull out plug number 4. So I'm pulling out plug number 4. Set the impulse no matter what. Good habit to be in. Now I'm going to watch, pull it through. There's the exhaust stroke. Look at that. It fired. Did you hear that? On one of the other ones. Now, isn't that a great sound? Unbelievable. I didn't prime it or anything, just the fumes left over. I think we're going to put plug number 4 in and give it a whirl. Turn the gas on. Impulse is still set. Tickle the carburetor. Prime it. Compression release is off. Double check the impulse is set. I usually reach back here and set the carburetor about halfway. And it fired again. And it fired again. Oh boy, it's really been teasing me. Boy. I think I'll try putting the new plugs in. Now I did see that the valve adjustment had backed off on the intake for number 4. So that most certainly wasn't helping any. Now it's coming up on intake for number 4 opening. Intake for 4 closed. So now we should be coming up on the firing stroke for number 4. Oh, I'm not going to see it if it's touching there. We're going to back it up instead of going through all those revolutions. No, I didn't see a spark. Maybe I have the wrong plug wire. Yeah, I had the wrong plug wire. That's number 4. That's number 3. Oh. I'm going to do the same thing here. There's the intake stroke on number 1. So now it's coming up on the compression on number 1. And there was the spark. I'm going to take the other two valve covers off to make sure the valve adjustments didn't come loose on that. So we're going to take the covers off and ensure that the other valve adjustments are in place. Yeah, they're good. That one's good. And those are still tight. Of course, I knock one of the valve covers on the ground. Oh. The impulse is still set. Now, seeing it first fired when I was just checking for spark in the beginning, I'm going to try pulling it through without even priming it first. That fired on number one. I'm going to prime them. I'm only going to try this a little bit, and then I might get the H out, because I tell you, I'm getting old. This pony motor is getting worn out. I think I have enough time to get the H out and try that. Boy, nah, it was so exciting at first, but now it's kind of disappointing. Well, to me, I kind of consider this cheating, but we're going to give it a whirl. On, impulse is set. I'm not going to prime it anymore. Oh, choked it off. I gotta rev it up more. Check the video because I came back to look to shut it off, but it had run out of space and shut down, so I don't know if we caught it. I'm going to try again here once. I gotta check the gas. Oh, now I think we just plain ran out of gas. I'm so close. I don't know if I have any gas here. I'm gonna go check. I mean, it was running. I have time for one more go. One thing I vowed is the H was always going to go inside when I'm not using it at the end of the day or whatever. And look, I've put it in a few times now and I get it in without it touching either side. So I guess my eyes aren't completely shot yet. Now I'll go back look at the 60. Oh, I'm out of time for today. But I talk a little bit about what I think's, or what's happening, what I think might be going on. Try and get between traffic noise here. You see, when I put the cap on with the condenser, the cover over the points, it fired on like the second pull. We'll have to see it in the video, just on the fumes that were left over from the last time I tried to start it. And I was just pulling it through to check for spark. So then trying to bar start it, I got a few promising pops, but it wouldn't go anywhere and I ran out of energy, so I put the H on it, as you saw. And when I would spin it over, it would fire right away and then it'd quit firing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, once it gets spinning fast, it's losing spark. But I don't know if it showed up on the video. Towards the end there, I was cranking it with number 3 wire off on a plug, and it was sparking while it was cranking. But you know, when it's not under compression, it's a different story. You know, where they'll spark out in the open, but not under compression. But when it would fire and kind of run, it would only do it at an idle. And it would start to fire and run, and then it'd quit, not make a thing. And that's when I ran it out of gas completely. But that's when it was actually firing quite a bit, just before it ran out of gas. So I got gas, and now what I'm thinking is carburetor's coming apart next. What I was doing is, when it quit firing, I'd turn the gas off, and as the engine apparently started to dry out, you know, become less flooded, as it started to dry out, then it would fire and kind of idle real slow. But whenever I would try moving the throttle, it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. And then it'd quit firing, I'd turn the gas back on, and then when the gas first came, it would start to fire a little bit, and then it'd quit firing again. And I could just smell it, that it was blowing raw gas out the exhaust, so I'd turn the gas off, and when it started to dry out, it would start to fire again. So my next step is going to be pulling the carburetor off and making sure that's all clean, because I'm thinking there's something plugged in there. And it airlocks when I run it completely out of gas. I always got to lift up on that hose and shake the air bubbles out of it. That line should get routed so it's downhill all the way, so air bubbles always work their way back. But if you don't run out of gas, it ain't a problem. So that's all the time I have for today. The next thing's going to be working on the carburetor. So I'm going to call it kind of a start and kind of a win. But not yet. It ain't a win until I bar start it. Thanks again for watching. I hope you're enjoying it.